My dad, Paul Nedrow, will forever be remembered for his kindness, sense of humor, ingenuity, and willingness to help. From my earliest days, I remember him serving at many capacities here at the Greensburg Church of the Brethren, whether driving the church bus, fixing a broken toilet, or setting up for a luncheon. If he saw a need and he was able to meet it, he did. He didn't wait to be asked. He just did it. Our family fell on hard times when Dad was laid off from the steel mill when I was still quite young, and Mom had put her career on hold to stay home and raise us. Dad would work odd jobs here and there to keep food on the table. He hunted, raised rabbits, and gardened to keep us fed. Since the preschool we attended wouldn't let our parents pull us from the school when they were no longer able to afford the tuition, he saw to it that he gave back in every single way possible. He built them shelves, made repairs around the building, and did whatever Sister Anita asked of him. I remember him leaving for Ohio for a week at a time, and he would only come home on the weekends. To this day, I don't even know what he was doing there, just that he was working to provide. And I remember he would always try and bring a little trinket or a treat home for my sisters and myself. My dad and I shared a love of fish. One especially lean winter, our 29-gallon built-in-the-wall aquarium that we both loved sprung a leak. Replacing it wasn't in the budget. That Christmas, Santa brought me a new one. A few weeks after we got it set up, my fish started having babies, and I was getting upset because the other fish were eating them. My dad asked if I still had my birthday money. I said yes. Knowing where this was going, Mom said, "No more aquariums," and left the room. My dad checked to make sure she was gone and whispered, "Grab it and meet me at the car. Don't tell your mom." And he drove me to the local fish store to buy a 10-gallon aquarium to house my baby fish. He didn't have a history of breaking ranks with my mom, so this was a very isolated incident. But he understood that if I didn't try to save my babies, it would weigh heavily on me and steal my joy. To this day, it astonishes me how my parents would encourage my sisters and myself to pursue our passions and embrace every opportunity, even when the finances weren't there. They said they would figure it out, and somehow they always did. When I was 14 years old, we were driving up to Butler to spend Thanksgiving with my aunt and uncle, and I shared to my parents that I wanted to become an exchange student to Spain. My dad laughed and said, "You better start walking. Spain's a long distance from here. You know we can't afford the plane ticket." But once he realized that it was no joke and I was serious about applying to become an exchange student, they came up with the money, to this day I don't know how, and gave me their blessing to travel to another continent to live with complete strangers for a year. Not only that, but they arranged and paid for me to go on a 10-day tour of Spain with my local high school while I was still living there. It was the opportunity of a lifetime, and one that I would have easily missed out on had they not been so proactive and so generous with me. My sisters also got opportunities to study abroad. Amy spent a year as an exchange student in Sweden, and Heather got to spend a semester in Austria as a college student. None of this would have been possible without the love, support, and encouragement of our parents. Many of you probably remember Paul's international daughters as well, Yoshi from Japan and Jerusa from Brazil. Not only did they send us abroad, but they welcomed exchange students into our home, who they provided for and cared and loved like daughters. In July of 1999, days after I had returned from touring the world for a year and Up With People, the unthinkable happened. My dad suffered a heart attack that nearly claimed his life. But God, abounding in grace, spoke life over him, and we were able to enjoy him for another 27 years. One of my favorite memories of my dad was when he came to be with us in Belgium for the birth of our first grandchild. He was in the delivery room when Andrew was born, and the very next day, while I was still in the hospital, Dad and Michael moved us into the house in Belgium because the mission board sent us over while I was 34 weeks pregnant, and the house that we were renting wasn't available yet. He came back to visit another 5 months later, this time with my mom, and together we traveled to 9 countries in 10 days. Those are precious memories. Shortly after we moved back to the States, around the time we bought our first home, Dad decided it was a good time to retire. Instead of reporting to work each day, he would come to our house and he and I would work to remodel it. We worked side by side for 5 months and got it finished just in time to move in right before Catalina was born. Without Dad, our home would have never been possible because there's no way we could have afforded a contractor to do all that work. To this day, it astounds me that he could do anything. Plumbing, electric, painting, drywall. There wasn't anything in the interior that my dad couldn't and wouldn't do. In more recent years, Dad's health and mobility had been declining, but he was still there for us in any way he could. He talked us through repairs and gave us tools to do the job, and he would share parenting advice for dealing with the occasional unruly child. He would tell my kids to straighten up when they were acting out at home or at school, and somehow that always seemed to help. My kids all deeply loved and respected their grandpa. They knew how much he cared, even when he wasn't able to pick them up from school anymore and take them to Wendy's, as was the tradition. Andrew was Grandpa's little sidekick, and even when we were in Disney, Andrew would rather go back to the hotel and relax with Grandpa than enjoy the parks with the rest of the family. I know that they both cherished their time together very much. My dad taught me from a very young age that we were to work hard to do our part and trust God with the outcome. He showed me that faith the size of a mustard seed could move mountains, that tithing was more about just dropping money in a basket. It meant giving of our time and talents to be the Lord's hands and feet on this earth. He taught us the value of a hard-earned dollar and that no one, especially the government, owed us anything. Choices have consequences. It's always better to tell the truth and that you do for family, which includes your fellow brothers and sisters in Christ. I am the confident, faith-filled woman I am today because of the worth my daddy instilled in me, doing the hard work of raising me right. He invested in his girls in so many ways: piano lessons, gymnastics, sports, band, youth group, summer camp, travel, and the list goes on and on. Daddy, we hope you saw a return on your investment and that we have made you proud. Thank you, and Mom, for every sacrifice you made and every obstacle you overcame to give us the best possible childhood and to set us up for future success. Thank you for not running Michael off with a shotgun when he asked my hand in marriage 26 years ago. You and I both know he's the only man who could love me, support me, and protect me like you did. We love you, Daddy. We miss you. And we will continue to cherish every moment spent on earth until we are reunited again in heaven, where we will spend all of eternity together. We know this is not goodbye. It's see you later. Enjoy your time running through the streets of gold, playing fetch with Scuffy, Cassie, and Abby. Tell Jesus we said hi. Though it feels so final now, we know we're just a breath away from seeing you again.